Hello. You're probably wondering what just happened there. I was on the edge of the stage trying to recover, and before I could even react, I was dead. What just hit me was an instant ground pound, one of the hardest but undoubtedly coolest techs in this entire game. And by the end of this video, I'll have taught you everything you need to know about it. Chances are that in all your time in this game, you haven't seen anyone do this in a match, because the instant ground pound has been buried into obscurity for a number of reasons I'll discuss later in this video. But for now, let me show you some proof of concept.
Bruh. Bruh.
This move has only 9 frames of startup, which means it comes out at the same speed as blasters or axe and light, which, as anyone who has used those two weapons knows, is incredibly fast. As well as that, it easily kills an orange.
Check this out.
It is also the best way to hit below the stage while remaining away from the edge. And if you do miss it, who cares? The recovery time is so fast, you can wake up or move away before you get punished. So why the hell don't more people use it? Well, this is hard to do. I'll be honest, it took me over an hour in training mode just to do it once. But hopefully with a couple tips that I'll talk about later, you can do it a whole lot better than me. But besides the plain difficulty of this move, there are a ton of other factors that have stopped people from using this. Despite the high reward and unexpectedness of this, this is super hard to hit. Instant ground pound probably has the tiniest hitbox in the entire game, and considering that this is a spot that many people actually try to avoid when on the edge, you may very well have difficulty hitting this. Having studied this move over many hours of trying to hit it, I know the right situations to use it in. If your opponent likes to weapon throw up when returning to stage, most likely they will try to pursue their weapon to pick it up again. What this would usually do is the weapon would protect the area above the player from a ground pound, but with an instant ground pound, you don't need to go off stage at all. So, if the weapon is near a spot the instant ground pound could hit, you might as well try and hit it. Another great way to use this tech is if your opponent likes to recover into the stage trying to hit you. This happens a lot against Scythe or Axe players, and reading a recovery wake up is a great way to hit this. Finally, Blasters has very good coverage at the bottom of the edge with reverse dare, and insane coverage at the top of the edge with down light, side light, and light. However, trying to hit the area straight below where the instant ground pounds hits is very hard to do without a lot of startup. So good enough players will lurk in that area thinking that they're safe, but you and I know that they aren't. At all. It's worth noting that you can do this tech on any weapon and with any move. Even though the instant ground pound is pretty useless on any weapon but blasters, you can input grounded sairs, recoveries, nairs, and down airs if instead of inputting a ground pound, you input something else. There are also multiple ways to do this. You can actually do this slightly faster or slower by a couple frames, depending on how you input the dash. And the fastest one has the hitbox that sticks out the edge the most. Unfortunately, on some maps, if you don't do it fast enough, the hitbox won't stick out at all and the opponent just won't get hit by it, which is incredibly enraging if you know it was going to get the KO. But there's also a secret way to input this. By doing a ground pound within 3 frames from when your legend hits the stage, it causes another instant ground pound. This can be done anywhere, not just the edge, but it's only useful off the edge because it hits a bit further down the stage, and it actually has a slight advantage over the normal instant ground pound because it hits further to the left or right. However, this can only be done if you're falling from a jump, making it more situational than the other version. Finally, the reason this tech isn't used is because of some specific balance changes in Brawlhalla's history. Blasters has gone out of style a bit with Boomy more or less quitting the game, and a weak Blasters presence in esports. As well as that, the addition of dashes snapping to the ground made the timing of this move different, meaning all the OGs who knew this tech previously had to relearn it. But I can show you how to do it consistently, making you one of only a handful of people who know this. To do this, you'll have to stand about the width of a Legend's hitbox away from the edge, facing away from it. To do this successfully, you must input a back dash, and then, as soon as possible, input a forward dash, followed instantly by a ground pound. Keep in mind, you can hold down during this entire process, which makes inputting it much easier. I'm now going to give you the optimal process for learning this as fast as possible. If you follow these steps perfectly, I guarantee it is the fastest way to learn this tech. Be prepared to get very, very frustrated because this is going to take a while to learn. You should start off just by practicing the instant back dash, forward dash while holding down, and then once you have that, start doing it on the ledge. I recommend going to training mode on Demon Island, but instead of using your legend, go to bot settings, change your control mode to bot, and then go to one of these positions I have marked out here. Try to get as close to the image I'm showing, facing away from the stage, and turn position reset on. Here's a word of advice. Do not actually use blasters to practice this. You'll end up falling off the edge, inputting an offstage ground pound, and it will take an annoying amount of time to get back to stage. Instead, use Ember Katars. Like I said, the instant ground pound can be done on any weapon, but is most effective on blasters, and Ember's Katars kit is perfect for saving time. Katars has the fastest ground pound in the game, meaning you'll fall straight down and respawn right where you were in less than a second. Or if you accidentally gravity cancel down Sig, her Sig will jump right back to where you already were. Doing it this way, you will never even need to let go of the down key. After you start hitting it semi-consistently on Ember, pull out your favorite blaster's main and give it a go. Believe me, getting consistent with it is super satisfying, and hitting it for the first time is an insane feeling. And if you haven't already, practice it on the other side of the stage, because unfortunately, you probably won't pick up one side after learning it on the other. But hopefully it shouldn't take too long, and at this point you will have learned the craziest tech in this entire game, and will absolutely clip some dorks in games to come. Get out. Get out. Get out of my video.